everyone, welcome to Zira Fashion Institute. Today we're going to be taking you through how to take accurate body measurements. To start with, I am going to get the waistline of this mannequin. For a human being, if you want to confirm the waistline of a human being, just tilt to your side like this, your accurate waistline. Just tilt to your side this way, bend to the side, and that fold is where your waistline is for people who struggle with getting their waistline. So that is how to get it. So for this mannequin, here is where the waistline is. You can see how this place is. So this is where the waistline is. So I just want to tie. So when you confirm and get yours, to just tie something around it so it's easy for you to take the perfect measurement. So now I am done tying the rope, the bias on the waistline. Can you see? Just get anything. You could use tape rule, just tie it around the waist. So I'm going to start the measurement from the bust. For the bust measurement, make sure that when you are measuring anyone, you ensure that this tape is not going below the bust, below the bust line. This is the bust line. So you make sure that this tape rule is around this bust line like this. Then you take it around. Make sure it is straight. Then this tip, can you see where this tip is for the tape rule? You put it on where it is accurate. Don't make it tight. Don't make it loose. This mannequin is quite slippery, so please pardon me. So you are going to make sure it aligns with the bust line, and then don't put your finger in between. Just put it at the top like this, just to hold it together. And here I have 35.5 inches. 35.5 inches. This is where this thing stops. So it ended here. That's 35.5. So I want to confirm the waistline. The same thing goes for the waistline, like this, 27 inches. Do not put your finger, don't let your finger go inside, and don't make it too tight. Just make it balanced, not tight, just free, normal, the way it should be. So this is it. We have 27 inches, and then to measure the hip line, you ensure that this tape stays perfectly on the highest part of the bum. The highest part of the bum is where the hip line is. So ensure that the tape is on the highest part, and then you take that measurement on the highest part. For convenience, for you to be sure, you can take your tape rule downwards. If it is able to go up, down without hassle, it goes up, down with no stress, then that means you are on point. Can you see? So I'm trying to take it down without making it loose. So now this is the highest part of the bum, and I have 39.5 inches. Make sure that when you are taking any measurement, even if it is after the 0.5, ensure that you add everything. Don't remove anything from anybody's measurement, because even 0.25 can affect a measurement. So the next thing is I am going to take around the under bust. For the under bust, make sure it is straight also at the back. And then for you to get it right, your customer or your client's bra iron is where you used to get the under bust accurately. So once you are there, just place the tape rule around it. This mannequin is plastic, so it is slippery. Pardon me for that, but then I believe you will still get my point. So here, make sure it is firm. Don't make it loose. To make it firm, look at it. I have 30.5 here. So the next thing we're going to measure now is this way. So to get your bust point, this is called bust point, shoulder to nipple, any other name you have for it, just fix it in. So for the bust point from the shoulder, make sure it is on the line of the shoulder. Don't take it backwards, because if you do, it's going to affect your measurements. Put it on the person's shoulder, this point like this, where it is curvy. So on that point, I have 10 inches here. For the under bust, you still let your tape rule be on the same point. Then you confirm the iron point I mentioned earlier on the brow of your client. I have 13.5 here. You keep going for the waistline, which is the half length. You put it on this point that you've gotten earlier. You put it there, we have 17.5. Meanwhile, for the back, there is difference between front half length and back half length. So for you to get the accurate back half length, there is usually a bone on this point of a human being's neck. You put your tape rule on that point, like this, then you confirm it. See, for the front of this mannequin, when I measured the front, I had 17.5, and here, look at what I have, 13.5. Can you see why we have to measure the front and the back separately? 17.5 and 13.5 gives us about 4 inches difference. So if you go ahead and just use the front waistline and the back waistline as the same, once you sew, when we add 13.5 to 17, when you make it 17.5, see where your back length will be. Look at it. This is where the back length will reach. So it doesn't work that way. Then the next thing is to measure the back, which is also referred to as shoulder. Ensure that when you are measuring your client, you don't take your tape rule like this, going overboard. Don't make it go overboard. Make sure that your tape rule is on their shoulder, where your hand connects with your shoulder is where you measure. So you measure it to that point and make sure the tape rule goes this way. Don't make it come this way. Do it this way, like this. So after that, we are going to measure the gown length. And I need to mention this, that when you are measuring your client, can you see where I've been staying since? I have not been doing like this in front of the mannequin. Don't do that. Make sure that when you want to measure, you're standing right beside your client or your customer. So you go ahead and place the tape rule on that same point of the shoulder to get the gown length. We're going to go ahead and just take it this way. Meanwhile, there are some clients that are usually shorter than you are. Taller than you are. There are some clients that are usually taller than you are. Once you have such clients and you don't have anyone to help you with, just go ahead and take your tape rule bit by bit. And you see? That way you get the accurate measurement. And if the client is still too tall and taller than your tape rule, sometimes although I advise that when you're taking measurements, you get the 120 inches tape rule. But if you don't have it, if your client is still taller than your tape rule, once you are done and you get to the point of the length, just take the tip of this tape rule again, start from that point to get your full length, and then you are good to go. Then next thing is the sleeve. You see that point you placed the tape rule for the shoulder, where the shoulder started. Just go ahead, and this mannequin the hand is folded, although you should know that a human hand will not be like this. So just ask your client to straighten their hands, and then you just take the measurement to any point they want it. For round sleeve, this way, measure your round sleeve like this. You may want to measure elbow length. You can ask them to fold their arm for your elbow length. Once the arm is folded, so that if you measure it without folding the arm, if we have 8.5 now, if your client wants to fold their arm when wearing the clothes you make that way, it's going to be really tight on them. So you want to make sure that they fold their arm before you take the measurements. That confirms the difference. Look at me now. While folding my arm, I have 14 inches circumference. But if I don't fold my arm, I have 12.5 inches. So you can imagine if I don't fold my arm and then you just sew it like this. If I fold my arm or want to do something while wearing the clothes and I fold my arm, it's going to be quite difficult for me. So after that, we are going to move to bust span. This is for bust span, which is nipple to nipple. Bust span, nipple to nipple. That's the only names that I know. If you have other names for it, fine and good. So from here to this point, you can ask your client to please help you touch their bust points, their nipple points on both breasts. Then you just take your tape rule over it, and then you confirm what you have. So that is all we've got on taking accurate body measurements, full measurements. Join us in another session of our free class. Okay, thank you. Bye.